Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we're going to take a look at the tangle Kalinga from Melanie Ringler. This is a neat one. Actually, I was going to peek. When did this one? Oh, it's been around for a few years. I don't know, I just really like it. And lots of opportunities for playing and such. All right, so we're going to start off. And you know what? with 2 lines. I want to say it's a border tangle, but you know what? You could just repeat. You could make it a fill-in. So I'm going to make it as a border. I'll make it a little slightly wiggly. Okay. But like I said, for a fill-in, you would just continue to, make these big lines and then, and repeat the process, just stack them. And I think that could have a really neat, really neat look. So, all right, this one, now if you have done the tangle doodah, it's sort of similar. But I'm going to do, and I'm doing this just because this is how Melanie had it on her step out. Although, as I was doing it, I was thinking, should I do one side and then the other, or kind of go back and forth? So if you've not done the tangle doodah, do look it up. We're drawing a line and coming almost to this side, but not quite. And then the other side, it makes it look like a zipper. This one, though, it's still the alternating, but we're coming not quite halfway. So I'm just going to do one side and then the other. I think it works out fine, but if you want to do it the other way, I think my biggest problem is coming the not quite halfway. So you want to leave enough room if you're going to do one side at a time. But like I said, you could do this. I don't know. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, I suppose. And just leaving some space, it doesn't matter. And actually, I'm going to turn it this way so that way I can see better. And so you want to have it lined up so that way it's somewhere in the middle of the other. This one's going to be interesting. And then 2, you get to play with, we'll see how this one turns out. I feel like I'm leaving a bigger gap than normal. Although I would err on the side of having it be too short, because you could always add if you need to, versus the other way. All right. And then, and speaking of that, I'm going to bring this one up just a little bit. Okay, now that I've done that, I need to, all right. And they don't have to be even, because here's what we're going to do next. And we're going to connect each of these ends. Like that. So then we get this big zigzag in between. And that, my opinion, is what makes it forgiving. Because, yeah, see, okay, so here's where I'm getting into more of a gap. It's not going to matter how exact you are with things, because it's going to look really cool no matter what. Oops, let's pretend this one is coming out this way. And honestly, it could just add a heck of a lot of character, if they're whatever length that they end up being. The only thing is making sure that they're less than halfway, so that way you get the zigzag. If they're closer to halfway, then the zig and the zag are not going to be, they're going to be more flat. So that's it. And I'm going to take that, the last step that Melanie has, I'm going to call that, it's a decoration suggestion. Because do take a look at the For More Inspiration link in the description section. So you can see some of the neat ideas on how to finish it up. And now, and I did two ways in mine, and now I don't know which way I want to go. All right. Well, let's do what she does in the I mean, I'm thinking, oh, I could do everyone different, but yeah, I don't know about that. So I'm just gonna aura the one side. And you know what could determine as well? What you do is, as I'm looking at this one going, well, maybe I could have done something different just to hide the wonkiness of that. I mean, I'm not going to worry about it anyway, but sometimes the decorations can be dictated by any course corrections that you feel that you need to do. But as most all tangling goes, when you get it all done and shaded, it's just going to be gorgeous, and it's not going to matter one bit, all of the little stuff. So that's one side. And then the other side, I'm gonna switch to the graphic one, just cause, and I do like how she did this. This one, she kind of made a little bit of a curve line, a very elongated C shape. Okay, and this one's gonna have it. It's gonna be right on that edge. Okay. Actually, this makes it look like dog houses, sort of, which is funny because that just popped into my head. I didn't think about it when I was doing it earlier. Yeah, so many factors on this one to play with, like, the distance in between those first steps. Every little aspect is going to affect it, and that just makes it extra cool, in my opinion. And I, also because there's so many, seems like flowery, I'm going to say curvy tangles. I like having things like this that are more geometric in the toolbox, so that way I just find that it's nice to pair them with. So something that has a lot of curves in it, like that would make a neat border. Actually, it is kind of picket fence-esque, and so that could be a neat border. Okay, I'm going to add this for my note to self. Add to my secret garden for next time, because it could look like houses, or it could look like I have got to fix some of these. Ooh, and that's what I'll do. Let's just redefine these lines, and maybe just the two sides. I'll start with the two sides. I can always come back. Oh yeah, the challenge with redefining is you have to be careful. I was just being apparently a bit sloppy here. And while I say there's no mistakes, but this is a course correction. You can always find ways to make yourself happier with what you have. And that kind of creates an interesting depth. Some of those lines are still being a little weird. And then you can continue to course correct until you have it all filled in too. There's that option, and then because we joke about that, you could do that and then come back with a white pen. It proves the no mistakes. Because there's not. You're just not done yet, as my friend Diane says. All right, well, that makes it kind of interesting. That it's neat, and it's one of those aspects or things that I don't always think to do unless I see somebody else do it. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. Let's do that, where you add like this, thick to one side. All right, it looks good enough. And I also kind of like the idea of, well, wait, let me look. Here's what I'm thinking for shading. And I think, yes, I did it with this one on my version of the step outs. But I'm going to, well, you know what, let me just do it. So I thought, let's just shade the zigzag on either side, on one side, sorry. And I'm doing it on this side because it seems like when, if I try to shade something like this that I've aura'd, it makes it look more like it's filled in versus being shaded. So I thought, well, I'm going to opt for this side. And this side is a little bit darker too. And it's almost like if you do that, I always feel like, well, I should come in, make sure the shading is past wherever that aura'd line is to avoid that. And it's just one of those, I just don't usually like the look. But this creates some interesting depth. And I'm gonna, let's see, this is the way I had it on the step out. Oh, that's just interesting. And then we can decide which way we like it. Wait. Yeah. Yeah, it's just interesting. Is this my... I want it a little bit darker. Right at the line. So I'm using the colorless blender again. It's becoming a habit. I think I've used it on the last 3 in a row. But you see how that's just making it a bit darker right there, right where I want it. And because I don't want to add any more graphite, I think this just mashes it in to the paper or something. I'm just trying to think, well, how does it do that? Oh, but I like it. Yeah. And then, yeah, like I said, and then it's just up to you to decide, well, which way do you like it better? Which way's up? And in Zentangle, it doesn't matter. Whichever way you want it. Whichever way you want up to be. Like I said, or it could go sideways. I don't know why I'm leaning towards this. I was thinking if I flipped it over, I don't know. It's a toss-up. Leave in the comments, which way do you like better? The darker side up or the darker side down? And you know what? It could depend on the day. Okay, something else I was thinking. Let's do this first. I kind of like the idea of making this a double. So auraing the outsides. That initial line. And it's kind of neat depending on how you've done this. If you make it so that way you could add it after the fact is always nice, because sometimes it's like there's just this finishing something about adding. Ooh, look at that line. Whoa, I have impressed myself. I was thinking about using the graphite, the Graphic 1 pen for it, but no, I think I like that better. But if you wanted more dimension, or if you needed more contrast, you could always just make it a thicker line instead. Heck, you can add as many aura lines as you want, and with varying thicknesses. Just depends. All right, well, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Neat, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please click on the like button, and if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. Do check out the description section for links to the step outs, and then below those is my link tree. So if you'd like to connect with me and other Tangle addicts, there are a bunch of links there. Also, there's some shopping links and and those kind of resources there. Just a couple things to highlight. Number one, we have a Tangle Addicts community group on Facebook. When you click that link, there are 4 questions that you have to answer in order to gain entry. If you're interested in tangling with me and my fellow Tangle addicts, come and join us. I do classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursdays are free. It's called Tangle Time. And you can see the information on my website. There's a link for classes right in that top menu. And you'll see both, the stuff that has a fee, as well as I always put links to the free classes up there. Just check the date of them, and then you'll know if it's current or not. And as long as I haven't goofed something up, usually every once in a while I go through a phase of forgetting to change the date or something, but and I usually do it the day of. So just so you're aware, but it's kind of a one process. I change the date and the link. But that way, you can always go there. And then there's some other places if you want to follow me, like on my Facebook page and whatnot. So, all right. Lots of information there. But do come join us. We have a lot of fun. And I do put, for the free classes, I have a number of the replays posted. I try to get those out. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. Eventually, I'll get them all up there. But you can watch those and see how much fun we have, and if you want to join us or not, because it's always more fun live. All right. So with that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.